And we are back with another
little old podcast from Pasadena. We got a cool new green screen back here.
I like that. I'm Victor Cass. I'm a retired police sergeant with over 30 years experience, all with the Pasadena, California Police Department, and a big fan and buff of all things Pasadena. And my co-host is
Alyse Beal, aka the historian Alyse.
That's right. And this is our fourth week of our podcast. For those of you who don't know, we had a Spotify, Apple, iHeart, true crime podcast, the little old murder from Pasadena, and we did 3 seasons of that, and we kind of branched out into this YouTube channel that kind of talk more broadly about historical things, hot topics, rants, and all of the interesting things that happen in and around the greater Pasadena area and Los Angeles County. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. News. We have a little bit of news. We got an email or a message this morning about one of our old cases from the little old murder from Pasadena.
Yeah, that's right.
A brother of Jennifer Ortega, one of the murder victims. When was that? 2000.
We covered that case in one of our podcast episodes.
Yeah.
And I guess the brother and maybe the family heard our podcast, and they're really appreciative that somebody was talking about it and had remembered her and covered the case. And
we just didn't know. When I was researching it, I was trying to find out more about Jennifer, and there just wasn't a lot about her, unfortunately. So he let us know that she actually is buried. I didn't know where she was buried. She's buried in Monrovia.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so apparently the family still, of course, misses her very much and goes to visit her there.
Yeah. So that's, I think some of the things that we try to do with these podcasts is spread, not often widely known information about our great city's history, our culture. And hopefully we can touch people's lives and inform people and make them see the richness and the deep and sometimes complicated history that they have in this wonderful region here in the western San Gabriel Valley and in Pasadena. In fact, speaking of history, this past week, we discovered some little historical tidbit about the longest, oldest, continuous bar in Pasadena.
The oldest bar in Pasadena?
Yes, and those of you who know us know that we love discovering the longest, oldest, continuous things.
Yes, like what is the oldest this? Like what I want to know the oldest everything
exactly.
in Pasadena.
And so what even made us more happy was, Lisa and I, we're from a neighborhood in north central Pasadena called East Washington Village. It is our traditional Armenian area. And this bar, the oldest bar in Pasadena, is in our home neighborhood.
Yes.
It's our own neighborhood bar. And those of you might recognize the name if you've ever driven down Washington Boulevard. 1881 Club.
Yes.
And you thought something about the name.
So their tagline is that they had been around as a bar since before Washington Boulevard was even paved.
Like, how long ago was that? Right?
Okay. That was 1925.
Right.
We'll get into the details. Just hold your horses. So, I was a little confused by that because the title is 1881 Club. They do not go all the way back to 1881.
Which is what you thought, right?
At first, I was like, are they trying to say that they were there since 1881? Because I have beef with that. I don't exactly agree with that. But no, that's not what they were saying. They are located at 1881 East Washington.
Yes, that is their address. That's not the date that they were founded. However, Alyse and I did research the location's history. And at least in its current incarnation, not necessarily the current owners, but it's in current incarnation of 1881 Club, it has been there over 70 years. Again, this is the longest continuously operating bar in the city of Pasadena.
Yes.
And so we had to go take a look. Now, let me give you some backstory. It's gone through several different incarnations, as Alyse will give you the rundown here in a second. And different owners, obviously. And for a long time, even in recent history, it was what people would have called a dive bar. Let's be real. I think when I was a cop, I had to go in there one time, like maybe in the late '90s, and or early 2000s, and it was kind of dumpy. But they have new owners.
Yeah.
And they revamped the place. And here, this was our first clue that 1881 Club might not be like the dive we remember so fondly or not so fondly. Is that my mom and her boyfriend were like, "Oh yeah, we go to the 1881 Club." I'm like, "You do?" At first we were like,
yeah, I know.
"What are you two doing there?"
What?
Yeah.
Because this place has become like almost like a joke to us. Because, and my head also, I have to admit this, I for a long time was confusing the 1881 Club with the Old Timer, which is a little bit further down on Washington, not too far. And the Old Town is the place.
Old Timer.
The Old Timer is the place where like you never see anyone go in or out. Like for as long as I've lived here.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody walking around the Old Timer.
Yeah.
Granted, it's because it's not open and has not been open for over 40 years. Who knows if it's just being used as a storage place.
It's a front for something.
Yeah, but if you were to see the front of the Old Timer, it does look like that it could be a operating bar, and at one time it was.
Yeah.
You see it's right across the street from the Dominico's on Washington, but
yeah, it wasn't. I was very shocked when I heard his mom saying this because she's very lovely. I didn't picture her being in a dive bar.
Yeah, and so when I questioned her a little more thoroughly about it, she's like, "Yeah, they have. Oh my God, the clientele is great.
Yeah.
Professionals. Like they have live music, jazz." I'm like, "Okay, well maybe they revamped themselves there at the old 1881 Club." So we did some research and digging in, and of course, Lisa and I never let a watering hole or a new bar go by unmolested by us. So we just had to go.
Yeah, we went on Thursday. They're famous for their jazz, and unfortunately, we didn't get to stay.
We were a little too early, so we didn't see the music. Yeah.
But we are determined to go back and see one of their live nights where they're playing jazz. There, it was good cocktails, and the atmosphere was amazing. I wanted to stay there.
Yeah, absolutely. You
really
walk in this
cool.
place, it's just the right kind of low lighting, wonderful bar, nice liquor wall. They got TV playing 50s sci-fi flicks, a naked lady painting, like everything you would want.
They've got the naked lady painting. You need that in a bar.
Yeah, and of course they have the merch, some cool T-shirts I want to get.
They did.
Everything you want in a bar. The drinks are on point. I had a martini, of course, dirty vodka martini, no vermouth. That's my brand. Alyse had a
margarita 81.
Margarita 81. I was impressed that with the whole. Again, we were there a little earlier. We didn't get to see what the vibe would have been like had we stayed later. We didn't really get a good handle of what the crowd would be like.
Yeah,
if it was packed. But so far, I liked what I saw. We'll definitely go back. And I'm glad that we have a neighborhood bar that we discovered. I guess it's been here the whole time.
So there's a reason for this, and I think it used to be a little bit more divey. In 2017, I believe, the owners of the Pasadena Ale and what is it? The beverage
something like
place.
That, yeah.
The owners of that, you know what I'm talking about. They bought the 1881 Club and like revamped it, remodeled it a little bit, and that's why everyone they walk in there now, they're like, "Whoa, I wasn't expecting this," because it's a really cool place.
And you went back in the archives.
Yeah.
We have a vast library, a Pasadena history collection, San Gabriel Valley stuff. And we can access old photographs through the internet and other archival collections that we have. And Alyse found some old photographs from that area.
From the area, yeah, not of the 1881 Club, though. I wish that I could. But yeah, that when you told me it was the oldest bar in Pasadena and that it was there since before Washington Boulevard was paved, I had to go do like a lot of research.
Yes.
From the second you told me.
And what did you find?
Okay, so I found it a lot, but there's still a lot of questions. I'm going to start in like 1941.
Way back in the last millennium.
Way back in 1941. It was Al's place.
Al's place.
It wasn't the 1881 Club. It was Al's place. The earliest I saw it as Al's place was 1941. 1946, Al's place gets sold and transferred to a Milana. And then it becomes Milano's
1881.
1881 Club.
Right.
And so that's where we get that from.
Okay.
Same year that it's transferred. Here's some fun story. The place was burgled. Someone broke into the back of it, went in and stole 20 cases of, as the newspaper said, giggle water.
Giggle water. Who hasn't had a good shot of giggle water?
I love that giggle water.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And another crazy thing, 2 years later, the building that they share the east wall with, they decided to do some construction. The construction blew through the whole wall. The whole wall just fell down in the construction. Yeah. So poor Milano was like, ooh. The place was condemned for a while because literally the whole wall came down.
He's lucky he didn't lose the whole building.
Yeah. And so in the papers, they're talking about how could this have happened? A whole wall coming down. They say that it's because the building was erected in 1923 before building inspectors got fussy about such things as reinforcing steel and adequate foundations.
There you go.
So according to this article, the 1881 Club, or the building at least, was constructed in 1923. Washington Boulevard was paved in 1925.
There you go.
So if that article is correct, then
paved.
yes, that building was there before Washington Boulevard was paved. I have some more fun stories.
Yeah, tell us another story about the 1881 Club.
1952. A 17-year-old boy gets off of the bus, I believe, at Washington and Allen.
That was his first mistake.
He lived on Grand Oaks. He lived in the area. So, he was coming home. I think he was at Pepper
and Washington. This is maybe a half block further east from the 1881 Club.
When two sailors jumped him, stole his money. The police tracked those two sailors down at the 1881 Club and arrested them there.
Because that would have been the first place we would have looked for those two swabbies after robbing some kid. Let's check the bar. They're probably drinking the poor kid's money away.
Probably drinking the giggle water in there. 1954.
Speaking of Pasadena police.
Yeah. Speaking of Pasadena police. They did a great job in 52. 54, not so sure, because two busybody policemen decide to go
diligently doing their job
through the window of 1881 Club.
After hours, by the way, it was closed.
You had nothing better.
They saw a light on.
I'm holding you perfectly.
Maybe, listen, they saw a light on. Maybe they think it's getting burglarized. They're doing their due diligence.
Okay, but what do they see when they look in the window of 1881 Club? They see the owner working on the books, doing his work,
after hours,
finishing a glass that he had started way back at the beginning of the night. They arrest him.
Yeah.
From looking in the window, they arrest this owner because
in plain view.
The law.
Plain view. I don't think his liquor license allowed him to drink in the bar after closing out.
I think at that time you had to stop drinking all alcohol at the closing time, which was 2 a.m.
Yes.
And they showed up at 4 a.m. And the guy's like, I was nursing my drinks, and they didn't care. Off to jail you go.
Off to the
This was reported of in the newspapers. Slow news day.
I say the cops doing their job on East Washington Boulevard.
I say that they could have done something better with this.
There's the letter of the law and there's the spirit of the law, right? Or the spirits of the law.
So, because these two lovely police officers decided to get this poor old man just trying to finish his glass while he's, working on the books, it was shut down for a little while. And I don't know if this is why, but in 1954, I also see a Kalash vitamin store connected to 1881.
So maybe they went through a little hippie vitamin store phase there in the early 50s. But we have a original phone book from 1956. And in 1956, just 2 years after the hippie store, it's back to the 1881
Club. Back to the 1881 Club.
So from 56 to today, that's 70 years straight. At that location.
I wonder if, maybe they just leased it out to sell vitamins for that short period where it had to be closed,
Or maybe they're just offering vitamins with the giggle water. Who knows what's going on. But, if you are in Pasadena, if you're visiting this area, come up to our neighborhood. It's a very hip, I'm not even gonna say up and coming. I think it's already arrived. We got Millie's Cafe, Bacchus's Kitchen, Octavia's Bookstore. I mean, we got fancy restaurants up here, Lavender and Honey Coffee House, and get your butt down at 1881 Club. Listen to some nice jazz music, have a martini or two, and enjoy the local culture of this wonderful neighborhood that Alyse and I are from.
It's a great bar. I can't wait to go back to it, and I am so glad that I heard the history of this. Yeah. That was cool. And when I found that you mentioned the photograph I found of Allen and Washington, they have a Stater Brothers at that corner now.
Today
used to be like a little gas station tire store.
Yeah.
Mission Liquor.
Which exists today, by the way, on the northwest corner of
that building
Allen
was there in like 55, 56 when the picture was taken. And guess what it was? Mission Pharmacy.
Oh, they branched out into the good stuff, obviously.
I guess so.
Like the pills weren't working. They realized they make more money selling the booze, the giggle water.
The giggle water.
Yeah, there you go. So that was an interesting story. A little historical tidbit from Pasadena. So, normally right around this time of the podcast, I would ask Alyse if she has any rants. Because, we can't have a podcast without Alyse having a rant.
Well, do you know I have a rant?
No rants? No rants.
I do have a rant.
What's the rant?
What was it? The Complete Streets Coalition is messing up Allen.
You know what? It's not just Allen. And we touched upon this on a previous episode, and there are several streets right now that are kind of being messed up. Who knows what they're doing? Widening lanes, narrowing lanes, adding, superfluous bike lanes or whatnot, but they're messing up, Hill Avenue down there, just south of Colorado. You can see all the cone patterns, and who knows what they're building or taking out or doing there. They're messing up Orange Grove between Fair Oaks and Raymond, right there. A lot of different places. But
they're currently working on Allen. They had extended the curbs.
Yes.
And they're continuing to add like that greenway that's going on.
Oh, yeah, the greenway. And then we had this little episode with the trees. And what's going on with the trees? And these kids are like turning into like activists.
For some reason, our city is obsessed with trees.
And we got a lot of trees. It's a beautiful city with a lot of trees.
Yeah, but this past week or two, we're talking, it's just all the talk is about trees.
Yeah, and in particular, the trees related to some of our school campuses. And I guess it got all the kids up in an uproar. And now you had, the activist teachers training them to be future activists. And this was their opportunity to go out and do things like chain themselves to a tree.
Okay, so they're doing this, though, because of the fires. They're trying to clean up all the debris, right?
Which you have to do, yeah.
Yeah, just in case you're not aware of, what's going on. And they were saying we have to get rid of some of these trees. But then, some citizens came back saying, actually, no, you don't need to get rid of these trees. They can stay, they won't be a hazard. But the city went ahead and started, ripping the trees out anyway, which is fucked up, let's just say. But my thing is, look, I love trees as much as the next girl, okay? But let me just say, PUSD is on the verge of utter collapse. They are getting ready to shut down, I don't know how many, 5, 6, 7 schools because they've been mismanaging things.
I'm not sure the trees are high on their list of priorities.
Let's stop talking about the trees and maybe start talking about the schools instead.
And boosting enrollment, because that's really what this is all about. Is the reason they're talking about closing these schools is there's just not enough kids going to these schools, and you can throw all the money that you want into this, but you're not going to have any money if you don't get this enrollment up, because that's where, state dollars for education depends on how many butts you have in seats. It's all butts in seats.
Why parents don't want to send their kids to PUSD to have those butts in the seats because, things are so messed up. Things are so messed up because our money, and let's say this, every time that we have elections and, the school district asks for more money, and Pasadena, like by and large, we always say, yes, take more money, take more money. And so we keep giving money to the schools, and then there's nothing to show for it. Where is this money going? It's going into the pockets of bureaucrats. Mm-hmm. And that is the reason why PUSD is like almost about to be absorbed by the LA school district.
Or somebody.
And it's an embarrassment. Yeah. And like, we have historic school buildings. Like John Marshall is one of the ones that they were talking about taking down. It was built like in the 20s.
Yeah.
What, this building is just going to be sitting there? It's an embarrassment to our city.
It's bad enough because...
Why are we talking about the trees? It's like a distraction almost. Like, here, talk about the trees instead of the fact that we've been mismanaging our school district.
And meanwhile, they want to tear down a portion of my old alma mater, Elliott Middle School, because of the Eden fire. And there's a lot of stuff going on. I think trees are the least of PUSD's
They were coming after Blair, too.
problems.
They're trying to shut down Blair.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that was a good rant.
Yeah, that was... I got a little bit heated.
Yeah, you do. Lisa's very passionate about public school systems in Pasadena.
Maybe I should just come back to the history.
Yes.
Let's go back to the history for a little bit.
Yes, come back to the history.
Okay. Here, let's go to history. I have a fun story.
You got something.
I have a fun story.
Uh-oh.
I grew up in that little area right above Pasadena, between Pasadena and Altadena, where there is a very historic home that came to my attention, or came to my attention, when I was researching the James Craig adobe.
You'll remember from our last
episode. Structure in Pasadena, because it has like a contender, which is the Crank House.
Crank House. That sounds familiar.
Yes. So where I grew up, the street was literally right behind the Crank House.
Right. And keep in mind, you guys, this isn't that far from 1881 Club, by the way. So it's literally like just down the street and up. The Crank House, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that in some movies too?
Yes. For me, it's famous because it was Miss Trunchbull's home in Matilda. You know, the Roald Dahl book that they turned into a movie, which is like one of the best movies of all time. Yeah, that was Miss Trunchbull's house there. It was in Scream. It was in Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
It was in Catch Me If You Can with Leo DiCaprio.
So it plays often like haunted houses or like witchy houses.
Yes, it's a little spooky.
What's the architectural style of the Crank House?
It's like Queen Anne. It looks a lot like at the Arboretum.
Old Lucky Baldwin's place over there, right?
That's what it looks like. It is a creepy place, and it's, you know, I said that my sister and I grew up kind of like exploring that area. There are little like back alleys, because this was a huge property. They used to have little outbuildings that I think are now like someone else's home that's like spread in my old neighborhood. So we would go, like, you know, as little kids do, go exploring through the
bikes and stuff?
zone. No, we could just walk there. It was that close.
That's true.
We literally just walked there and explored. My sister claims that she snuck onto the Crank property. I don't remember this. I don't know if I blocked it out or if I just wasn't there. She claims that she snuck onto the property and they had a huge pot-belly pig.
What?
Yeah. Like, add that to the creepy factor.
Now, if I remember my history correctly, the Crank House wasn't the original structure on that tract of land.
No. You want to hear the history?
Sure, let us know.
Okay. So the land originally belonged to a Confederate widow. The widow of a Confederate general, Johnston.
Albert Sidney Johnson.
Yes. So he died, and her brother, John Griffin, told her, like, you should come out to Pasadena, California.
Right. But at this time, though, it wasn't called Pasadena, because this is during the Civil War when this happened.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is in the Civil War period. These are just tracts, ranchos out here at the time. Again, I think, I don't know if Benjamin Wilson had purchased it already or it was still in Eulalia Perez's possession. But yeah, these were big ranchos, and she came out here. Yeah,
so it was Griffin sold her the property for $1,000. Unfortunately, this is kind of like weird and morbid, her son also died. Like, right after she came here, he was in a steamship boiler explosion in Wilmington in LA, like down by the ports. So he died horrifically. And she was like, I'm done with California. She wanted to go back home. Home was Virginia, Fair Oaks, Virginia. And that is why the name for it, we call it the Crank House, but it also goes by the Fair Oaks Ranch.
The ranch goes by Fair Oaks, right. So she sells it to Crank?
So she had I think a very small home that was built when she lived there. That was actually moved away, and it's now in Altadena. I forgot to look up exactly what happened, but I think it still
exists, right?
Yeah, it's still there. So the big mansion that Matilda was filmed in is not her original.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But when she leaves, Benjamin Eaton takes over.
Mm-hmm.
He subdivided the ranch. The southern portion, I forget, goes to someone. The northern portion goes to James Crank, which is why it's called the Crank House.
Gotcha. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't old James Crank, he was kind of a farmer, vintner kind of guy?
He was. So, him and Albert Brigden, and there's a Brigden
These are all streets
nearby.
by the way.
Yeah.
Craig, Brigden.
They were co-owners of the Sierra Madre Vintage Company, the winery in Lamonda Park.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was this house. And I actually found a scrapbook from 1800s, of the family that lived there. Remember I was showing you the pictures?
Yeah,
it's really cool. And it was a massive property because he was growing things like citrus and, it was like a ranch land there.
Yeah. Citrus would have been our main crop back in the day. I think every house in this whole area has at least one orange tree from those days still growing somewhere. I know we
but
do.
it is the coolest, very elaborate Victorian house. Watch Matilda, you'll see what it looks like on the inside. I mean, that's what it still looks like, that pretty much. It's there. It's very hard to see.
Almost like the Craig Adobe.
Yeah, because literally homes are built all around it.
Yeah, she drove me. We went past there and I saw these high bushes.
Yeah.
You can see part of the tower of the Crank House, but it is difficult to see from the streets if you know where it is.
I think they still do filming there. When I was growing up, the lights from the filming would always, without fail, shine directly into my bedroom window and right into my eye when I was trying to sleep. Thanks.
That's why you turned out the way you did.
Oh, is that why? What are you trying to say?
Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, that history calmed me down. I feel better.
You could. Pasadena, we have a lot of famous historic architectural sites that are named after people. The Craig Adobe, the Crank House, the Gamble House. So a lot of big architecture here in the city. We are a architectural mecca. And yes, one more place to put on your list of unusual historic homes to go check out. Now we saw one today on the internet. There's the tower, the Rapunzel Tower down there.
Oh, yeah, Rapunzel Tower.
Yes.
That was cool, but it looks like
tower.
Another one that you can't get very close to it to see what it is.
Yeah, it's down there off of Glenarm and Fair Oaks, in that little State Street little neighborhood down there.
Yeah, Pasadena never ceases to surprise me with the little
There's always some discovery
that you find.
There's always some new thing that you never knew existed. We do TikToks and we'll try to highlight a lot of these on our TikTok channel and little videos going places and whatnot.
We went to the Pacific Asia Museum today.
That's a good one.
Which, if you know about the place, it was the home of Grace Nicholson, built in 1924, if I'm remembering correctly. But then in the 40s, it was turned into the Pasadena Art Museum.
Right, and then she gave it to this.
Yeah, I think in the 70s, it was turned into the Pacific Asia Museum. Now it's owned by USC.
Right, now it's the USC Pacific Asia Museum.
That is such, drop everything, go to this museum. They have great
nice
exhibits.
Display. Great exhibits.
Yeah.
It's in a nice neighborhood in Pasadena, Playhouse Village. You'll like it. It's close to a lot of historic stuff in that area. The Pacific Asia. Put that on your list of museums to visit in Pasadena for sure.
Yeah.
Because we got a ton of them. We got a ton of museums here and all worth visiting.
Yeah.
We should do a series on the most obscure little museums in Pasadena.
We know all of them.
We know all of them. That's right.
We know all of them. They're not obscure.
That's true. They're not obscure to us. They may be obscure to you guys, but not to us. So, yeah. If I would vote for them, I'm okay. Something happened.
I'm good.
You're good.
Okay. All good.
If I was voting for the most obscure museum, I would say the Finlandic. What was that? Finland Art Museum.
Oh yeah, the little Finnish cottage
Finnish,
by
yes,
the Pasadena
yeah.
Museum of History.
That
that
might get
Fenya's
my vote
mentioned.
as the most obscure museum that we have here in the city. But you never
Yeah,
know.
that's pretty
There
obscure.
might be one more obscure than that, even. But yeah. So what else do we got?
What else we got? News.
Any
Oh,
news? Uh-oh.
the Langham.
Oh yeah.
Price gouging.
Oh, boy.
Can you imagine
All right.
that? One of our famous Pasadena
Well, let's give him some. Let's give him
hotels.
some background. So it was in the news recently. I was a little embarrassed by this. We have a ton of famous hotels in this city, and foundations and monuments to famous hotels that used to exist that no longer do. One of them is the Langham, the old Huntington Hotel down on Oak Knoll, famous as heck. Some of the best restaurants and bars you'll find in the area are there.
Mhm.
And it was sad to find out that during the Eaton fire, the Langham price gouged people.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure they weren't the only ones that did price gouging, but they're probably the most prominent ones, and they got
Mhm.
slammed in the media. And now they're having to do a little PR cleanup.
Yeah. I thought it was funny because I remember during the fires, I was like kind of following their social media, and they were like patting their own back, like, look how great we're taking care of our guests during this tough time.
Yeah.
And now we find out they were price gouging.
Yeah. I mean, Alyse and I, we had to evacuate too from that area. I mean, the fire
Yeah.
stopped, 3 blocks north of my mom's house, and thankfully we didn't lose anything. But
There were no hotels available.
Yeah,
at
we had to
all
go.
that
We
night.
had to go as far. We finally got a hotel that first night of the fire in Monterey Park, California.
Montebello.
Montebello.
Yes,
Montebello. Yeah,
Montebello.
Montebello. Which even I think is farther away than Monterey Park. Yeah, but we had to go all the way down there, and I was without a home myself for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Couch surfing at who's over here, and yeah, it was some rough going there for a while. But yeah, I was sad to find out that the Langham had done some price gouging.
Mhm.
Again, I'm sure they're not the only ones.
So I'm because I think Pasadena's perfect and can do no wrong. I don't think it's Pasadena's fault. I think it's because it's no longer the Pasadena hotel we once knew. It's because it's owned by an international company.
Yes,
Some Chinese company owns it,
boy,
and
here
it's
it
their
goes.
fault. It's not
Yeah.
Pasadena's fault.
There you go. It's the CCP's fault.
It's the CCP's fault.
Anyway, that's a good one. You dug that little historical newsworthy item out of out of your hat. But yeah, so far it's been fun doing these podcasts with the historian Alyse. I like the new background.
Right?
Thank you, Alyse, for this. We no longer have to worry about weird stuff in the background.
I just love that it has the palm tree and City Hall and the old timey over here.
Yeah. And is this over here? Wait, is this the old YMCA building right here?
Yes.
Is that what that is?
When it's all clean looking and nice
Yes.
instead of
Well,
as it is today.
Yeah.
Whatever it is today.
Hey, by the way, they did clean it up. It is clean today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. But anyway, what are you gonna have for us next week?
Oh, I have something good, but I'm not going to spoil it. So you just have
Okay.
to wait for next week for the next little old podcast from Pasadena.
See you next week.